What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And this is a quick weekend check-in. I'm going to try to keep this video relatively brief, just talk about what's going on with Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market and the price charts really quick. So the first thing we'll do is take a peek over here at the Bitcoin price chart. I've been posting about this over here on Twitter. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, we've been staring at what bearish structures for Bitcoin look like in bear markets for Bitcoin. And over the last couple of days, we have had a little bit of price action over here on Bitcoin. It's been bouncing up and down tremendously, but I did want to show this to you right in here that Bitcoin is back at its 702 Fibonacci retracement level. So if we're just going to pay attention to the actual fibs that happen in here, we can flip this thing upside down to see it's going the opposite way and that we're back at the 702 retracement. So Bitcoin has been holding this level for the last couple of days. Will it continue to hold that level is the big question. Like I've mentioned, navigating bear markets is incredibly difficult. Really, the only thing we can do is look to how things have played out previously. And this has been very similar to what we've seen happen in bear markets for Bitcoin back in 2018. And I'll just kind of give you a clue on where we're at right in here, right? So if we did do something like that, like we had back in 2018, well, we're not too far away, right? Whether that 702 Fibonacci retracement holds, whether it steps down a little bit lower, from what we've seen happen before, we're not too far away. Of course, the thing that's on everybody's mind is how fast can we get through it, right? The longer it goes on, the more painful it becomes, and the market loves to dish out pain. It's always been like that. Whenever we've been in those extreme greed moments, I always say, this is not normal for cryptocurrency. We spend most of our time in extreme fear and in extreme pain. The euphoria time periods are very short-lived. But right now, we're kind of teetering, right? But the good news from all of it is that we're on top of the 702 Fibonacci retracement, right? There's always the chance that that level does hold. And even if it doesn't, you can see where we're at currently right now. There's just not much left on it. Really, the thing that I'm looking for, as I always talk about, is the retracement time period to come in. And based on what we've seen happen before, based on typical retracements, this seems to be the area of interest for a retracement for Bitcoin. So it's just about patiently waiting until that moment can come. Now, as you know, when we were, in the 60,000s, I was sitting there repetitively, annoyingly warning and warning about Bitcoin. But now that we're down here, you're going to start seeing the opposite from me, right? Now it's about, all right, let's look for a reversal to come in. So we noticed that most of the retail investment group maintained a lot of optimism the whole way down on Bitcoin that it was still going to recover. But if you look out there now, extreme fear has gripped the market. This was even as low as 10. We can look on this fear and greed index from the beginning of the start of this index to see how low we actually got, right? We got as low as it typically goes in regards to absolute extreme fear. And that also happens to be occurring right here at the 702 Fibonacci retracement. And it's funny how that works because we talk about retracements going in the opposite direction, right? We talk about retracements pulling back to the upside, and that there is, for some reason, extreme euphoria, extreme excitement, and people buy the tops of retracements. And so those are the same things that you look for in retracements back to the upside, is that extreme greed, extreme euphoria, return to the market, moon predictions. There is something magical that happens about Fibonacci retracements that when you get back to them, the entire sentiment of the market and everything is just overstretched by the time you actually get back to them. So as we've now pulled all the way back to 702, well, here we are. And for those who are hearing about 702 for the first time, this has been a staple of my YouTube channel since the very creation of it, since day one. It's merely the halfway point between a 618 and a 786 Fibonacci retracement. Bitcoin has a tendency, and cryptocurrencies and really lots of assets have a tendency to react tremendously to the 702 retracement. But it's pretty funny to see that as we get here, we finally hit that massive extreme fear occurring. And so, of course, what does that mean? That means likely when a retracement does come in at some point, whether it's from this exact moment or not, we would be looking for the same type of behavior coming in here, right? As the retracement comes back in, extreme greed, extreme excitement, moon predictions all come back in. But of course, what's the main thing that I'm looking for to happen in there is what's going to happen with the altcoin market. Because when the tops of previous Bitcoin bull runs have come in, heading into that retracement, especially in 2017, It's where the altcoin market really took off. So a lot of my decisions on the altcoin market get made as we go back into the retracement. But while I was annoyingly bearish on Bitcoin up in here, it's time for me to become annoyingly bullish for Bitcoin down in here, looking for some type of retracement to come in. The thing that's been interesting about Bitcoin during this whole bull run really has been that when I went through the 2017 bull run, everything was so different for Bitcoin back then that when bottoms came in, it would really just bounce right back out of there. And that's just typically how they all worked. Like you'd have these big moves down, then it would big bounce, big moves down, then big bounce, big moves down, big bounce. But heading into 2020 and 2021, it just really wasn't like that at all. Everything really happened slowly. Just nothing has really been all that fast in regards to any of these reversals. They've all been kind of like double bottom reversals on it rather than a V bottom reversal on them. So nothing has just been like a whoop, go, or even in here, whoop, go. It's all been whoop, up, let's do it again, and then go. And then here, let's do it again, and then go. So will we get a V bottom reversal out of here, or are we going to see these same things we just keep seeing happening over and over again, where every single bottom appears to be some type of a double or triple bottom coming in here? And if we look to what this structure was like, and even though it stepped down one more time, what was it? Once again, another double bottom down in here. So it was not just a step down, now you're relieved of your pain. It was step down, here, let's step down and try to do it one more time. And then finally, it worked its way out of there, heading back to retracements. Heading over to the altcoin market, some of the things that we've been studying has been Wyckoff accumulation, especially over here for the XRP price chart. And as we can see, XRP has still held that level in there. Even though Bitcoin has stepped down, XRP has still held it. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then still, we're just working our way over here, waiting for that thing to pop back out. Now, one of the things about this is that we had studied this. We'd looked at lots of different altcoins, and we saw that, hey, look, they're all showing this kind of Wyckoff accumulation in here. But when this big move happened in here, there was another coin that we have been watching as well, and that's been Cardano, because Cardano's had a different structure going on in here. And one thing that's been on my radar about Cardano is that, all right, look, we saw it happen over there with XRP. We saw that seventh wave come out. XRP has still been able to hold that level, but there's a little bit of a concern over here with Cardano because when everything moved down, when XRP moved down, that was this for Cardano. Well, we've talked all about these structures in here. We've talked about the crashing structures coming up in here. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 5. We have a rollback up for wave 6, not exceeding wave 4 of wave 5. And then we're heading on down here, right? And it's like, okay, well, if there's the 7th wave that's supposed to come in down in here, why did XRP do it? Why did everything do it except for Cardano? Does that still indicate that there's still more downside to happen over here in the altcoin market? And then yesterday, Bitcoin continued to play at that 702 retracement level again and went back and touched it a second time. And XRP still maintained this level, which is what we were looking for to happen over here on XRP. And then magically, Cardano gave us that 7th wave. So Cardano has set a new low at this point now. It has taken out the base of wave 5, and it has set that new low. So it makes me feel better to see that Cardano has now officially done that because it was kind of one of the missing things from all those things that we watch. We've been watching all of the other altcoins and they're still holding that level, right? Or at least the ones that we've tracked like XRP. But Cardano had not done it yet. But yesterday Cardano did. So Cardano officially has met the conditions for a crashing structure now. I think if we see any type of move like this happen for Cardano where it just gets a little bit higher, then that's a really good sign. So whether or not that is the completion of Cardano, I don't know yet. But what did have me on alert was the fact that it hadn't done it yet, and now it officially has. So there's no confirmation of saying, hey, it's done yet. It's free to move up to the upside yet, but that condition is now met. And now we can say, well, it at least has done it now. And for me, I can start being optimistic that it can start moving back up. So to see Cardano actually complete that thing and to see Bitcoin right here at the 702 and to see XRP continue to hold it, I'm starting to get more optimistic. Again, these processes are slow. I do realize what that fear and greed index says. It says most people are now in extreme fear. I saw somebody post on Twitter, BCB, you always put yourself on the chopping block daily, and we respect it. And I appreciate that. Yeah, because now it's time for me to flip the opposite now, right? I've been like bearish on Bitcoin while the entire world was incredibly greedy. And now it's time for me to flip and looking for reversals to come in for Bitcoin while finally the entire world is utterly terrified and in extreme fear and capitulating. So the fight continues on. Now the fight is going to be from the opposite side. It's going to be like, hey, when can we start seeing some type of reversal come out of Bitcoin? Are conditions getting met? We're seeing conditions get met over there for XRP. We're seeing conditions get met over there for Cardano. And we see Bitcoin over here at the 702 retracement. So for those things, there's a reason to be optimistic. This structure over here would indicate there's still another leg lower to go. But looking at the structure, you can see how deep into it we are at this point, right? There's light at the end of the tunnel at some point. But as a reminder, right? So we can see what's happening over here with the weekly candle. We're going to get the weekly candle closed today. Bitcoin has definitively cracked through that 50-week moving average. And you look back through history, you look through previous bull runs, what happens when that 50-week finally does break. A bear market is on set. The structures can be a little different, but the bear market is on set once that 50-week gets cracked. And we teased it multiple times in here. We had 2 weekly closes below it. Now we have an official absolute breakdown from the 50-week moving average in here. And like I've said in other videos, right, I've expected the 50-week moving average to break, but I'm not going to be surprised in this market if we go and we play around with it even more and bypass it to the upside even more because of what's happening here on Bitcoin. But these are the things that happen in bear markets. The momentum to the upside has been lost. Doesn't mean retracements can't come back in here and go across them and come back down and stuff. But the euphoric momentum of the market has been lost now that we're cracking through these things. And so even into a retrace, so I'm gonna just kind of laying the foundation on where we're going next in regards to my channel and my sentiment and my plan and how I'm going to be operating, because I don't want it to be surprising, right? When it was the same thing, we were going up to the 60,000s, right? I'm warning. Now we're down in here. I'm like, all right, I'm looking for reversals in here. It's going to be the same thing when we head back up in here. Eventually, we're going to get back up in there. I'm going to turn back into that exact same guy that I was up in here. But not only am I likely going to be doing it for Bitcoin, I'm probably going to be doing it for the altcoin market at that time as well, saying, look, we're meeting lots of conditions of what has happened when tops of Bitcoin bull runs come in. And this is usually a bad sign for the altcoin market at the same time. So right now, we're not in that. Right now, we're still in this hopeful, optimistic time period for me personally to say, look, we've been through situations like this before. And we've seen that these reversals will come out of here and we go into a retracement. And the altcoin market historically does something magical during this time period. Now it's going to be a wait and see to see if that actually does end up happening for the market. But once we get back up in here, I'm going to become that guy all over again. I'm going to become the guy who's at the beginning, right? Like right now, I'm looking for reversals, even though the sky is falling right now, right? I'm looking for reversals to come back in. And then when we come up in here, I'm going to be looking for reversals again as well. And that's because I'm sticking to the game plan of that Bitcoin is in an actual bear market. And for a lot of people throughout history of watching the Bitcoin price chart, that big fat crack right there of that 50-week moving average is not a good sign for bulls. So for me, it's all about just knowing where I am within the market right now. Where am I? I'm in the initial fall of Bitcoin from the top. Bitcoin hit its top. It's having its big, massive rejection from the top. We haven't gotten to a point where we're doing a retracement yet. But when we go into that retracement, I know I need to be very, very cautious. And that's where my mind is standing right now. And a great example of that is a structure like this. Imagine this being our big run up in February, March, and April. Here's your big May sell off. Here's us recovering in July, August, September, and October. We come up, we set a new high, pull down below the all-time high, we set another new high, and then we fall down. You can imagine us being something like that right now, that's kind of how things are playing in here, that, hey, look, we've come up, we've taken out this high, you pull back, you break up, you break down, similar to what occurred back over here, right? And then where are we in this moment right now? We're in this big pullback down in here. We're in a big pullback. And then eventually a retracement comes in here, right? So that's how I'm playing my cards right now. Just so you can kind of have a clear idea on why my mindset is going to be the way that it is. This is how I'm playing my cards. Whether they're right, whether they're wrong, this is the way I'm playing them. And that once this bottom does come in here, I'm going to be looking for a retracement back up in here. and then things may get pretty boring for the cryptocurrency market for quite a while. But hopefully, leading into that retrace for Bitcoin, we see what this market typically does, and that XRP has held this level, and hopefully this is finally our time to go. So quick little weekend update since I didn't have a video on Friday or on Saturday. Let you kind of see where we're at right now. Bitcoin's at the 702 retracement right now. And yesterday, Cardano did complete its structure for a crashing structure, and it did give us that seventh wave. So things to be optimistic about right now. Now it's about watching this market try to turn itself around. I've been the bear on Bitcoin for several months, but now it's time for me to start becoming optimistic for a reversal. And on that, I'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. So I hope that you guys are having a great weekend. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do, you can check out my website, bcbacker.com. This is a course I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs and the previous altcoin markets, structured very similar to my YouTube channel, not PowerPoint presentations, but me talking and a lot of charts and stuff. I talk about mathematics and percentages, why those are so important to me. I talk about my personal exit plans, and I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. I have made recent updates in here, and I did also just recently include the December 31st market update in there. All of this is available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker, and I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.